For BamaCentral.com, I'm Katie Windham here with Joe Gaither and Blake Byler after Alabama basketball's 79-75 win over the Auburn Tigers inside Coleman Coliseum on Wednesday night. Blake, I'll start with you. What led to Alabama getting this victory tonight?
It's a big question. I think one of the biggest things was Nate Oates has been talking kind of all season about toughness and competitiveness, and I think we saw that to a higher degree tonight than we really had seen all season from this team. I mean, you start the game, Alabama had another slow start, which they have been prone to do over the last couple of games. They were down 12-4. Rylan Griffin comes off the bench. He hits his first four shots, all from 3-point range. And then from that, it kind of ignited this back and forth game where Alabama just played really, really hard. You saw Grant Nelson answer kind of a challenge from Rylan Griffin that he said that Rylan gave to him on the bench to play harder. He came up with 11 rebounds. He had a putback dunk towards the end of the game. I feel like this game was won with a lot of individual, like small effort plays. It wasn't the fact that Alabama really shot the lights out. I mean, they shot well in the first half, but they finished, I think, around 38% from three. So it wasn't crazy shooting. I thought Alabama defended really well, especially on the ball. I thought Latrell Reisel had a great defensive game. So really just a lot of small winning plays that showed a lot of toughness and competitiveness like Nate Oates has been looking for that led to this big win.
Yeah, Oates talked about in the post game. He acknowledged that starts to both halves are something they've got to work on. But I think we also saw an Alabama team tonight that they had the 14-point lead at halftime. They gave it up, but then they didn't fold. They stayed in the game, and I think a big part of that was the crowd. But we saw Mark Sears once again lead Alabama in scoring. We saw Latrell Wrightsell and Rylan shoot well from three. Grant Nelson has a double-double. Who would you give tonight's MVP to for the Crimson Tide?
Honestly, I think it's got to go to Grant Nelson. I want to say Mark Sears, but that's the easy answer. Auburn takes the lead by one with about 6 minutes left in the game, and Mark Sears comes right down to underneath the basket we're standing under and gets an and one. And from there, it was really Alabama 1-2 point lead ahead. But I was really impressed with Grant Nelson. The air ball to respond with a dunk, a putback, and then offensive rebounds. Look, for a guy that's been maybe lacking in confidence in the offensive end, especially in the SEC, to play this well against a team, a top 10 team. It gives Alabama its first top 10 win of the season. I think this could be a huge stepping stone moment for Grant Nelson for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I think he answered Rylan Griffin's challenge, the coach's challenge, and I think maybe he answered a question that a lot of the fans have had is, can he compete against these big teams? And he did it tonight, like against a top 10 team. And Alabama kind of picks up its first signature win of the season. They've played in a lot of close games against really tough teams, against other top 10 teams, and wasn't able to come out on top. But tonight, with the Coleman Coliseum crowd, they were able to do it. And Alabama is now back tied for first place in the SEC, and we'll be back in Coleman Coliseum on Saturday against LSU.